Hi everyone, welcome back. We're very excited to kick off season 2 of our Live with Marketers series, coming to you live from LinkedIn headquarters in Sunnyvale, California. Season 1 is a wrap. If you missed it, we had way too much fun. All of the old videos are on our blog. It was concentrated on proving the value of LinkedIn to B2B marketers. Now we're branching onto other topics based on your feedback, beginning with getting inside the millennial marketer's mind. So I think that if we don't understand something, we hate on it because haters gonna hate. But in this webinar, we're hoping to give you a better understanding of the millennial marketer's mind, how we make purchasing decisions, what we want in a job, all that great stuff. A couple of housekeeping notes. Audio streams through your computer speakers. There's no dial-in. You can put your questions in the Q&A console on the On24 platform. We're going to save about 10 minutes at the end to answer your questions, so send those along. And then we'll also share the slides and the recordings afterwards, so you'll have those. The agenda that we're going to go through today, we're going to talk about what a millennial is. We're going to talk about our increased buying power, how influential we really are. We're going to talk about how we make purchasing decisions. We're going to share some advice for marketers looking to reach millennials. How are we wooed? What kind of content do we like to consume? We're going to talk about what millennials want in a job, some predictions about the future of marketing, some personal branding tips, and then also we're going to have a couple of poll questions peppered through because we want to get to know you, the audience, a little bit better. First things first, introductions. My name is Alex Rinn. I'm a content marketing manager at LinkedIn. I've been at LinkedIn for 3 years. I oversee our social media marketing strategy. And I also create content to help our prospects and customers better understand how to be successful on LinkedIn and get inspired in their careers and in their lives. I'm very excited to introduce our guests today. We have Megan Brockmeyer of LinkedIn and Rachel Lefkowitz of LinkedIn. And I'll let each of you guys introduce yourselves. And please also share something that is not on your LinkedIn profile.
Great. So, hi people tuning in. My name is Megan Brockmeyer. I'm an associate marketing manager supporting our sales and marketing solutions business. But I specifically focus on our technology vertical, which is so cool and affords me to geek out on some of the nerdiest trends in technology every single day for the sake of allowing technology marketers to see great results in their partnerships with LinkedIn. Something you should know about me, some of my best work friends do see this in our team chats, but I love all things Doge. Doge memes are just delightful. I don't know how anybody can't love a good Doge. In fact, I've created a special Doge just for today. This is Doge in a galaxy sky against, an Arctic backdrop with some great Comic Sans fonts in different colors with some key buzzwords of all the goodness that we're going to talk about today. So much Doge, very webcast, so wow.
Love it. Rachel,
awesome.
On to you.
Hello, my name is Rachel Lefkowitz. I am a content marketing manager for the LinkedIn Learning team. I focus on bringing really engaging and informative content to the learning and development professionals that focus on bringing learning of all kinds to professionals at their companies. Something that is not on my LinkedIn profile is that I am really into yoga. I'm currently in the process of going through yoga teacher training, which I know is very California and very millennial. And, with yoga, you're always thinking about, the different poses and things like that. Like, no, I can't totally get into a headstand yet. But, for me, it's really about, learning to ground and, make your breath a priority and, how that makes me a better human being, so.
Did you do yoga this morning before the show?
I did.
Awesome. I hope you're feeling very grounded. All right, so I'm going to shoot it over to the audience for a poll question. I just want to get to know you guys a little bit better and what you're here for. So why did you tune in today? Your options are A, I'm a millennial, and I want to learn more about how to build my personal brand on and off LinkedIn. B, I'm not a millennial, but I'm interested in learning about this increasingly influential generation's mindset. Or C, I'm just looking to learn, which is totally cool as well. And we're going to give you a couple of seconds to respond. What do you guys think? It's probably going to be like a mixed bag?
Yeah, mixed bag, Yeah.
Hopefully. I mean, the content is, applicable for millennials and non-millennials, so hopefully we do have a mixed bag. Let's see what they said.
Da-na-na.
Okay, wow. 64% are not millennials, but they're looking to learn more about our mindset. 16% roughly are millennials, about 19% are just curious to learn. So, okay, a lot of non-millennials. We're so excited to have you.
Yeah, this is great, guys.
Thanks for being here. We're going to dive into what a millennial is. So essentially, the definition of millennial is someone who's reaching their young adulthood in the early 21st century. I think that we're not necessarily a generation of suit and ties, but we're hustlers, we're entrepreneurs. There's 2 billion of us on the planet, and everyone wants to know about us. So let's talk about what a millennial is. Can each of you guys share what you think a millennial is, what adjectives might come to mind when you think of millennials, and what makes us different?
Yeah, I definitely think that millennials are creators and builders and entrepreneurs, not necessarily with their own company that they own, but within organizations and kind of within everything that they do. I think it's really important when you look at the sector of millennials as a whole that it should be segmented a little bit implicitly into 2 groups, the Gen Yers, mid-80s to mid-90s babies, Gen Zers, mid-90s to early 2000s, mid-2000s babies, only because you look at those 2 groups against one another and against the backdrop of how the internet has evolved and how technology evolved. And Generation Z, the younger group of millennials, they are true digital natives. They were the babies that were walking around with iPads in their hands, whereas Gen Yers, older millennials, we were the early adopters of technology, but we still remember that time when we had a flip phone. Shout out to everybody who probably had a pink Motorola Razr at some point, or an MP3 player, right? So we still love technology. We're still really tuned in and plugged into all of the digital developments, but we don't necessarily speak the digital language, I think, with the same acuity as those who were like in it to win it from birth.
And Rachel, what do you think? How do you define a millennial? What comes to mind?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think, I agree with everything you said. Like if you, know the dial-up sound, you're Gen Y. But at the same time, I think, this Gen Y and Gen Z, culmination of our millennial generation is really all about shaking things up. Like you said, we're entrepreneurs. We're the startup generation. Like if we see a problem, if we see inefficiency, we won't have it. So in that way, I think impatience, makes a lot of sense, but we don't just complain and feel impatient, we do something about it. And so we use technology to solve those problems.
Yeah, working smarter, not harder.
Exactly.
Megan, there's so many misconceptions about millennials. What are your what are the ones that you come across the most?
Yeah, I don't like the misconception that everything is all about us all the time and that we're so us focused, right? We see in a lot of research that millennials love to contribute to the conversation and they love to have a conversation. And they love to learn from their peers. They love to learn from their elders. There's only so much time that I can walk around with my smartphone outside, with my neck down, without it giving me a migraine, right? So that's a good check-in for me to kind of be aware of the world. And look, the world is changing so rapidly, and we're really on the cusp of that, and we really feel that. So, I feel the conception about us that it is all about us is very flawed.
Okay. Anything to add to that? Any other misconceptions?
Similarly, this whole idea of laziness, I think, is untrue. We are willing to work hard. If you're going to have us do grunt work, you better explain why. And if we can find a better way to do it, we're going to find one.
Yeah, exactly.
And let that be okay.
Yeah, totally. So the influence of millennials is definitely on the rise. As I said, there's 2 billion of us. We have about $1 trillion in purchasing power. And then there's almost 50,000 articles written on millennials and about 16 million and counting keyword searches on millennials. On LinkedIn alone, there's 114 millennials, which makes up about 38% of our user base. There's 11 million global millennial decision makers on LinkedIn. And there's also 2 million millennials that hold marketing roles on LinkedIn. So lots of influence there, lots of buying power. How do you think millennials are making purchasing decisions, and how does this differ from previous generations?
Yeah, I think similar to what we've already sort of teed up, millennials want to be in the driver's seat of a decision. Like you want to be in the driver's seat of your own life, right? You don't want to make a decision for no good reason that hasn't been vetted, that you haven't chatted about with your peers, that you haven't seen look good on other people, and that maybe that you haven't tried a free demo of, right? We see, you know, there's almost a third of today's buying committee is made up of millennials. This is from a B2B perspective. And we even see younger millennials, you know, all of the entry-level employees, they are contributing to purchasing decisions because they're probably the end users of it, right? So if you're gonna, you know, sign a multi-million-dollar contract for a software that ends up stinking after 6 months of using it, that's gonna be really tough, and millennials don't want that to happen. So they're gonna be really vocal, they're gonna be wanting to be a part of it all the time, and they're gonna want to make the best decision possible.
Yeah, going along with that, I think millennials really want to focus on, you know, reading their own content, which is, you know, why like content marketing exists. Millennials want to be able to, you know, search and find those blog posts, those ebooks and things like that to be able to, you know, go to their boss and be able to say, hey, you know, I want this software for these reasons. This is why I want this one versus this one. And, you know, we're really not ready to talk to a salesperson before that happens. So I think this idea of, you know, a buying committee, we also want to know like what our peers and other companies or other departments have in terms of technology. And we want to do our own research.
Yeah, and according to Google, a prospect will consume almost 10 pieces of content before they even raise their hand to talk to someone from sales or before they want to be contacted from someone from sales. So yeah, there's a lot of online research happening. There's a lot of peer-to-peer recommendations happening. Like you said, like I want to know that it looks good on someone else. I want to know that my friend would recommend it, etc. So there's some speculation that millennials aren't as influenced by advertising. What do you think about that?
That's fake news.
It's fake news.
Yeah, that's not true. Everybody's influenced by advertising, right? There's just new technologies and new channels of communication that exist now that millennials are fully immersed in, and that's where you should be trying to reach them, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I think traditional advertising, like it's hard to make an argument that it still works with millennials. Like we really hate above all being interrupted. Like, you know, if I see a commercial on TV or, you know, a commercial before I'm watching something on YouTube or if I'm seeing it in my Instagram feed, like it better blend in, you know, like there's no really blending to interrupting my show, so that doesn't really work. But, you know, I think this idea of, again, like providing really valuable information for us to make our own decisions, that's still a form of advertising. So I think it's just sort of steering away from traditional and going more towards like experiential advertising, things
right.
like that.
Yeah, so we're definitely still influenced. It's just not like the traditional form of advertising that you would think, and it's a little bit more of like a genuinely helpful feel, less interruptive experience.
But subway ads do work. As a New Yorker that rides the subway to work every single day, the amount of freebies that I've signed up for because of subway ads is outstanding. So good subway ads, keep them coming.
All right, good note for all the marketers out there. Speaking of advice for marketers, can you share, so there's so many companies out there. There's like Tom's, they have that social good component. There's a lot of companies that are really trying to be authentic and like go with our experience, like we said, rather than being interruptive. Can you share some advice for marketers who are looking to reach millennials? How are we wooed?
Yeah, I think it really boils down to just being authentic and transparent with what you're trying to get across, right? Like there's a little bit of Holden Caulfield inside of any millennial. We're gonna smell something that's fake or false like pretty quickly. I would also say that, at least for me, I'm a big stickler for things that are aesthetically beautiful and that bring me a really unique experience that I couldn't get from anybody else. So when I'm on the lookout and cross-comparing different brands or looking at different vendors, I'm definitely going to take a look at, you know, how you are showing up and your presence across a lot of different channels.
Yeah, I think mine really goes back to this idea of experience. Like, show me the experience I'm going to have with your product. Like, I don't necessarily want to see like an in-product shot, but like, you know, Grammarly has this ad that, you know, I've seen on YouTube, and it shows like, you know, different ways people have used Grammarly. I love Grammarly. Like, I will not write an email unless I know that that is installed on my browser. It's just like a really nice safety net. And so being able to see that like from a, you know, from a B2B and a B2C perspective, I think works really well. In the same vein, like Microsoft had this ad that I had muted, because I was like, oh, my ad before, this YouTube video I'm watching. This is so annoying. But then they started showing all of these sort of 90s fun things like Tamagotchis and trolls when they were like little dolls and not like, on Twitter. And, I was like having this whole like really fun nostalgic experience. And then, they tied it back to Microsoft. And now I have that, feeling towards Microsoft. It worked. I was wooed.
Yeah, like they've been along the whole journey with you all along.
Exactly.
So like you feel emotionally connected to them.
Yeah.
So, we've talked a lot about video recently and how shorter videos work, how people drop off about 60 seconds in, how about 80% of people watch videos muted, so, subtitles are necessary. We've talked about how, like, when you get a piece of furniture from IKEA, the manual is in like 7 different languages and it's way confusing, so you throw it away and you go to YouTube. Like, that's our generation. So all that being said, like, what kind of content do you think resonates best with millennials?
Yeah, I think, first of all, it's really tough, I know, for us as marketers to let go of our safety blanket, but ungated content is always the better way to go. Time and time again, we see the data come in, and people just don't like filling out form fills, and if they're going to, they're not going to put their real information in. There's just a crazy margin of error there. We have access to the internet, right? So if you, vendor A, want me to engage in this long process to get information for me to engage with you, like if you're gonna make it difficult for me, I'm gonna go to another vendor or I'm gonna find that information elsewhere. So for me, ungating is like just ungated content in general is really important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think for me, it's, informative, engaging, and experience-oriented.
Yeah, and educational, right? Like, give me content that's going to make tomorrow better than today for me. Give me content that's going to help me look like a rock star or help my team, right? Give me content that shows me how I haven't been using something in the best way and how I can really take it to the next level, right? Like, give me something of value. Don't give me something that just has details I could find from anybody else.
Yeah, and like keeping in mind that like we are the people that we're marketing to, so I don't like filling out forms, so keeping that in mind as well I think is super important. I think we get all caught up in like creating the next thing and like we make something because maybe our boss asked for it or whatever, but like stopping and saying like, okay, like would I actually consume this, I think is a good starting point. So we're going to transition a little bit now to talk about millennials in the workplace. We recently did a survey of about 9,000 millennials on LinkedIn globally to find out what jobs they hold and why they're job hopping. We found, as you can see on the slide, that number one was salespeople. We have software developers. The range is kind of a broad spectrum, which makes sense because some millennials are just entering their careers and some are a little bit more established. We also did some research to find out why they're job hopping more so than other generations, and we found that about 67% will leave a job because of advancement opportunities, 60% better pay, 51% for more challenging work. We know that millennials will make up about 50% of the workforce come 2020, so what do you think millennials want in a job?
I think time and time again, the research is showing that millennials, above all, above pay, above work environment, they want to be somewhere where they can learn and grow, and they want their mentors, or they want their managers to be mentors and coaches. They don't want annual review check-ins of like one time a year, like you're doing great, or like things are really not going well. Like would have been nice to know that before. So this idea of a more consistent feedback loop, and also the ability to really try things on and explore. Like millennials want to know that that's okay. Like when you're coming in at 21, 22, like the days of you climbing the career ladder and doing the same thing when you're 55 are gone. You're probably going to have 3 different types of jobs in that time, and companies that can learn to support that, I think, are really going to attract this generation.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, we're entering this age of the new economy, and it's really scary for everybody. People who have been in their job for 20 years and people who are trying to figure out their entry-level job, right? And we know that the skills that we have today are probably going to be not the skills that are of the highest value in 10 years. So we want to be in a place that feels invested in us and our professional development from a skills standpoint, from a mentorship opportunity standpoint. You want to be in a place that's surrounded by people that you trust and that you can learn from, because that's the greatest asset in your professional career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And in that same vein, I mean, I know that in Silicon Valley, it's like, this intense fight for talent. There's these crazy benefits. Do you have any tips for companies when it comes to attracting millennials and retaining them?
I mean, I think it's, really about, providing information about the environment that you're going to be in. I think, yes, the perks are nice. It's nice to know that the company cares about me as a human being. So they're going to provide, various things like, various benefits like the gym and all of that, which is great. But I think, this idea of recognizing who we are, how we like to work, LinkedIn has a floor that's like basically like a library, where if I have, heads down focused 3 hours to, craft a new piece of content, it's pretty cool to be able to switch gears and like go sit on a couch. You know what I mean? Like the old generation of, this whole like suit and tie thing versus, t-shirt and jeans kind of situation. This idea of sort of catering to the way like humans want to work, I think is a really cool way to attract millennials.
Yeah, it's a competitive advantage to allow your employees to live their best lives and be as productive as possible, right? So millennials, we want to live the way we want to live. We want to buy the way we want to buy. And we want to work the way we want to work, right? So, yeah, that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah, and I mean, at LinkedIn, I feel that a lot. It's like they encourage you to work when you're feeling you're going to be most productive, you're going to produce the best work, you're going to be your best self, and there's so much trust and autonomy, and so I definitely appreciate that as well. We're going to talk about the future of marketing by kicking it off with our second poll question to the audience. We want to know what you think the future of marketing is all about. So, is the future of marketing all about A, personalization, B, artificial intelligence, C, video, D, virtual reality, or E, the customer experience? We'll give you a couple of seconds to respond. And this is the segment in the show where we all look at our phones because, after all, this is a millennial webcast. All right, that's enough of that. Let's see what kind of responses we have. Ooh, okay. Wow. All right. A little over half say that it's the customer experience, followed by personalization. So in that same vein, I'm glad that, you guys mentioned that personalization is big. We think that personalization and relevance is definitely big. I think that millennials have kind of like changed the game in that sense. When you look at companies like Netflix and Amazon, the way that they know us, the way that they serve up content that they think we might like. Can you share examples of companies you think are doing that well?
Yeah, I think the poster child for this is Spotify. And not that everybody should try and like mimic their model, but you take your you take something as simple as a Discover Weekly playlist, and it's something that Spotify uses data and algorithms that are always improving to give me something that week after week is more and more uniquely me and just continues to delight me, right? So yeah, I think Spotify is a really great example. All the streaming services, the strongest ones are doing a really good job just because they have so much data at their fingertips.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, just thinking about like the way millennials function, like the delivery apps, I think are unbelievable. Like, you mentioned Amazon, like this idea that, you can say like, hey, you bought this last time. It's been, 2 months. You may need that, makeup sponge now. Like, oh my gosh, I do need that makeup sponge and I do not have time to go to the store. I can get that in 2 days. Yes. And like not pay for shipping. This whole idea that you tricked me into thinking that I'm not paying for shipping because I'm paying like a one-time fee is so genius to me. I just feel like it nails this generation very well.
So what do you think about, like, do you have tips for companies on how to accommodate these new expectations of personalization and relevance? Are they unrealistic expectations?
I just don't think it's unrealistic, right? Like, you're living in a world where you have all of this data at your fingertips. Like, at the end of the day, you're talking to a human being. Why wouldn't you want to make them feel like the human being that they are, right? Yeah, it's definitely the wave of the future, and we're slowly chipping away at it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much data not only, at your fingertips as you as the individual companies, but the companies that you're working with to advertise, right? Like they have all this data on the different demographics that they can sell to, and how you can sort of fit into that. And I think that those are getting better and better, and the two are going to complement each other and produce something that's increasingly more personal and more relevant. It's just the natural way of things. And I know that we ask for a lot as millennials, but I think that this one isn't that hard.
Yeah, definitely. I think that
it's not too much to ask, right?
No, it's not. What about your predictions for the future of marketing? What do you think is going to be big?
So I'm glad people are really interested in sort of this next-gen customer experience. I'm super excited about that too. I think about how retail is being radically transformed by all these new bells and whistles that you can bring to the table in terms of a customer experience. Interestingly enough, I think if you had asked me that question a year ago, I may have said AR and VR because everybody and their mom was playing Pokemon Go, and that was the hot topic for marketers, right? Like, how can we build this 360-degree immersive experience for everybody to really interact with our brand or our product in the way that we intended it to? It's really great and really flashy, but what we ultimately saw was sort of the consumer maturity and adoption of AR and VR, and where the technology evolved over the course of a year. We're not quite at that sweet spot yet. So yeah, I just thought that would be interesting that in an entire year, I think the conversation has really changed to how do you nail the customer experience and get it right.
I totally agree with that. I think in addition to that, this whole idea of targeting and retargeting is going to get way more advanced.
Yeah.
Right now, if I buy something, that may follow me around, or if I've clicked on a dress or something, that's going to follow me around everywhere. But I think this idea of not only advertising to me and me personally, but also to my potential networks. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Knowing that I'm interested in male people, based on some sort of social profile, and advertising really trendy ties, not a ton, but one time. And then my boyfriend was like, wait, do you like this tie? And I was like, oh my gosh, I was gonna show you this tie. You know what I mean? I think that that's super effective. We're gonna see a lot more of that for sure. And also, if something if I buy something, I bought a pair of sneakers, and Nordstrom's then was had this video on how to rock sneakers at work, and I was like, yes, mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That is so helpful.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see a lot more of helping us through the next level of the journey, instead of being you bought this pair of shoes, you want to see it again? You want to see it again?
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
When we talk about customer experience, what we're really talking about is a better post-sale experience. This goes in B2B and B2C, right? Nordstrom tells me these shoes are awesome. Here's a cool outfit you could wear along with it. I might buy that outfit. In a B2B context, given that upselling and renewals are such a big part of, at least from the technology sector, enterprise providers, it's such a big part of their business model. The onus is on you to empower the customer to be successful in the product and service that they're using, right? Mm-hmm. And I think too often as marketers, we will pass along leads to sales, and then sales closes the deal, and then the customer is using the product, and then maybe it goes back to customer experience reps, but we're not all talking to one another. And brands are getting this right. It's amazing to see, but we have a really, really long way to go in terms of making the customer feel like they are in a true relationship and a true partnership with you. Even after they sign off on an IO.
Yeah, I totally agree. Customer experience, the post-sale experience, and more strategic retargeting, definitely all part of the future. People have been talking about AI, artificial intelligence, for years, and I'm not really sure that most marketers truly understand how to integrate it into their strategy. Is it really that big of a deal? Is it going to be that big? Should we care?
AI is a really beautiful and important technology. I think that it's overhyped within the marketing context. It'll really help with the customer experience when you think of customer inquiry management or chatbots or what have you. But to me, really, the AI technology is going to be really powerful in industries outside of marketing and some of those applications, and how we're going to live more futuristic lives. That's what I'm very excited about with regards to the technology. But I think it's a hype word within marketing.
All right. What about print? So I know that I get tons of mail that I throw away all the time, advertisements. I'm enrolled in all my online billing because I don't want to get paper bills. Do you think that we're ever going to get to a place where marketing is completely offline?
No.
No.
I love print. I love the stacks and stacks of magazines that are delivered to my home every week, and I love having them there and taking time to go through them and engaging with it and ripping out things and maybe putting it on my fridge and whatever. It's just a very comforting thing to have, right? Also, my eyes will start to go red and be so sore if I am only consuming things through a digital ecosystem every day. I really need that break. And look, like, we're humans, right? So going back to analog is probably pretty good for us, sort of like emotionally and mentally in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And then there's event marketing as well, right? Like, we're talking about customer experiences, like that's a big part of it.
Yes. I mean, conversations and the ability to actually like speak with your peers and have that engagement versus in an online forum is so critical, right? And I think we underestimate the power of sort of like in-person events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, for B2B, like offline is like just getting started. You know what I mean? Like this idea, I think event marketing is going to get bigger and better. I think, I love direct mail for B2B. I think it's a really great opportunity to, court your prospects and form relationships in a unique way. So I think B2C, I'm definitely one to throw out coupons and like look them up on Google later if I want them. Yeah. So like B2C, B2B, like keep going, more direct mail, please.
Yeah. All right, cool. So I wanted to share, our LinkedIn Marketing Solutions team did an A/B test a couple months ago, and we created one piece of content. One was in a PDF format, one was in HTML format. So essentially, like, our team likes to think that perhaps PDFs are archaic. Once you fill out the form, you get the piece of content, and the data ends there. You don't get to see how they consume it. You don't get to see what they clicked on. No heat map, nothing. And our initial results when we did this test were that the PDF won. I wanted to pick your brains if you have any ideas of why this might be.
Totally. PDFs are like a safe blanket. They're a warm, fuzzy thing that you can, click on and right-click Save As, download to your desktop and have there. And it's a true pick-me-up sort of experience. I think people are so habitually acclimatized to the PDF experience. So that doesn't surprise me, but I hope, as digital trends evolve, that we will become more attuned to other sorts of formats. PDFs are so comfortable. Love PDFs.
Yeah, I feel like PDF, like when you download, you now own it. You can check it out on your own time. Yeah. It's like, when you get a book, it's like, oh, it's mine. I'm not renting it. You know what I mean? People like to own more. They don't like to rent. But then again, like, look at Spotify. Like, we don't buy music really anymore. We buy subscriptions to, streaming services. So I think that can change. Like, I feel like it's going to be okay if I have to start using HTML. But, like, I'm a little sad about it.
Okay. All right. I hear your points. I still think there's room for online experiences, but we'll see what the next test reveals. I'll keep you guys posted. We're going to talk a little bit about personal branding now, give you guys some tips. But first, I want to kick it back to you one more time and ask you what's holding you back from building your personal brand. So your options are A, it's hard to find time. B, I'm not really sure what to say. C, I thought I should keep my image super buttoned up on LinkedIn. Or D, I just haven't figured out what the perfect selfie angle is yet. So I'll give you a couple seconds to respond to that. What do you guys think? I mean, it can be very time consuming, but I think it's an important part.
Yeah, I think, and it doesn't have to take a lot of time either, right? Like, you just figure out your system and make it work for you, and you can see really great results.
Yeah, I had a boss that said, dedicate just like a certain amount of time a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poll answers.
Okay, so it looks like the poll said, most people said that they're not sure what to say, followed by it's hard to find time. So if you're not sure what to say, that's great because we have some tips for you right here. So first off, before we dive into each of these tools to build your personal brand, you guys are both influential millennial marketers. Can you share tips for millennials or non-millennials who are looking to build their personal brand on LinkedIn and beyond, perhaps?
My go-to is building connections. I think LinkedIn provides this really unique opportunity to, have touch points with your connections and maintain those. Like if someone gets promoted or gets a new role, it's an opportunity to be like, hey, like let's grab lunch, whatever. I think, more and more it's, not what you know, it's who you know, which, let's not take that like too seriously. It's obviously what you know as well, but it's very important in terms of who you know. Like if you can get a recommendation from someone who's worked with you that can vouch for you, that is huge in terms of like pursuing your career.
Yeah, I think LinkedIn is also a great little audit trail of all the things that you're interested in and the people that you are engaging with and what you have to say, right? So Alex, who's an expert on publishing, will probably give you a few more robust tips, but just finding really great curated content that relates to your industry that you think other people in your network might get a lot of value at, taking the time to post that piece and maybe skimming through it and finding like, what is the thesis of this? What is the key nugget that I want people to take away from reading this piece? Copying that into the sort of the subtitle of the post where it's embedded is always really helpful, right? And it can help you appear and definitely build your credibility as someone who knows what's up in your industry and is a go-to for multiple sources of information. Oftentimes, if I want to get a sense of how someone thinks and what they are really interested in, I will go to their recent activity and sort of just scan that. And that gives me a pretty good snapshot.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely the managing relationships. I think that, relationships matter. They're very important. You can build relationships on LinkedIn. You can grow your network strategically. Diving into the tips we have on the screen, optimizing your LinkedIn profile is super important. When you have an image, you're 7 times more likely to be found. And then when you have at least 2 of your previous work experiences, you're 12 times more likely to be found by recruiters. So awesome tip there. 2, publishing on LinkedIn. So we have about like 1 million people publishing on LinkedIn right now. It's the definitive publishing platform. You can showcase your work. You can tell people what your POV is. You can share lessons learned, your professional expertise. Actually, 80% of all long-form posts on LinkedIn come from millennials, and about 45% of the readers of these posts are in the upper ranks of their industries. So VPs, CEOs, you're getting your content in front of a really influential group of people. Then there's LinkedIn SlideShare. So if you don't have one, this is a great place to showcase all of it's like a portfolio. It's a great place to showcase all of your really nicely designed work. So your infographics, your ebooks, if you presented a deck at some kind of conference or you produce some kind of video, like that's a great place to share that as well. As we mentioned before, making meaningful connections, very important. And customizing your feed by following those who matter most. So following a bunch of influencers, getting involved in groups, replying when you do publish content, like replying to comments and fostering connections and relationships that way. It's all super important. So now we're going to dive into kind of like a fire drill run of some questions for our 2 lovely guests here so that the audience can get to know you a little bit better.
No pressure.
No pressure. All right. We'll go Megan first and Rachel, just because you're sitting closer to me. Most annoying millennial stereotype.
Yes. Millennial pink. It's my least favorite color. I hate all the hype about it. It's just everywhere. It needs to go. Millennial pink.
Yeah, I can't do with the laziness thing. That bothers me so much. We're so ready to work hard. We just need the opportunity or we will make one ourselves.
I'm scared of you, Rachel. All right. Favorite company, B2B or B2C, that's crushing it with the millennial audience right now?
I love Viceland. I think and just sort of Vice Media in general, I think their programming is so spot on. And they keep it real. They do it with a sense of humor and a little bit of sarcasm, which is great to lighten the mood. And I think just the quality of their content is so good. And granted, it's a lot of millennials that are behind the production of it, but I think they really nail it.
Patagonia, hands down. Their ability to combine best pricing in terms of their recycle program. If you buy something from Patagonia, you can bring it back 4 or 5, 10 years later and exchange it for a different one. So it's sustainable in terms of them being able to recycle their materials. The way they're able to align themselves with causes in terms of supporting environmental causes and animals and, actually host events on shark preservation, at their stores, I think is just, it's very cool the way they will align, and I don't think I'll ever be able to buy from another outerwear brand.
All right, who should play you in the movie version of your life?
I love Alicia Vikander. I can't wait for the new Lara Croft Tomb Raider movie. I think she's the coolest, and she's also from Sweden, my home country.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, love the Swedes. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I always want to say Natalie Portman because I also love her. I think she is phenomenal. She won like a Peace Prize, she's brilliant and she's beautiful and she's incredible. I don't know if I deserve her to play me in a movie.
Totally
but
do.
I'm still gonna pitch that.
All right, I like that. As a millennial marketer, what keeps you up at night in your respective roles?
Oh man, so I live and breathe the tech industry every single day, and it's so hard to stay on top of the tech news cycle and be in the know with regards to everything, right? I mean, there's so much more to tech than just what's in startup land, especially when you get into the logistics of enterprise cloud software and mobility, et cetera. So just trying to keep up to date on what is going on in the industry. I would also say that the dimly lit screen of my iPhone as I try and fall asleep and read Reddit streams or check Twitter or browse through Instagram, that's definitely what keeps me up at night.
Totally. I mean, I can't deny the occasional getting sucked into my Instagram feed.
It's a whole black hole.
I know, seeing where people are in these beautiful places. Now I need to plan something. I definitely
Going
get stuck
down the rabbit
there.
hole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh
We've
gosh,
all
like,
been there.
wait, where is this on maps? And then
Yep.
get totally lost. And also, I mean, I am a marketer. Like, I used to market to marketers, and it's easier to get inside my own brain and those of my team. But learning and development professionals are doing incredible work, in their organizations, are really understanding how to help them, do what they most want to do. Definitely keeps me up at night.
Okay, awesome. We have time for some live Q&A from our audience. I'm super excited. We have a ton of questions. Okay, first one. What are some tips you can provide to combat the millennial stereotypes in the workplace? I'm assuming this is coming from a millennial.
Yeah, I would say make an effort to combat those stereotypes, right? Contribute to a conversation, share your point of view, and explain why you feel differently than your older peers. I think that's just the best way we can kind of break through. It is tough though.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you are ambitious and you want to get somewhere, that's amazing. You should go for it. But ask a lot of questions. Ask questions of your bosses, ask questions of your peers. Figure out how you can do the best job that you can. We can come up with our own ideas of how to make things happen, but there is a system that exists before we get there, and it's good to know a lot about what that is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's one about how often do you suggest publishing on the LinkedIn platform and suggested topics? I don't have a silver bullet answer for how often you should be publishing, but I really think it should be whenever you're feeling inspired. That's when I create my best work. But typically, to gain a following, maybe bi-monthly or just once a month, just to let people know that you're still there, you're still active on your profile. And then in terms of topics, like I said before, it should be your areas of expertise, maybe some lessons learned. You can crowdsource sentiment by asking questions, seeing what your customers' pain points are, and really trying to resolve them. I mean, that's kind of what content marketing is all about. Let's see. With ungated content, which we discussed previously, how do you measure effectiveness of ebooks and other content if it's ungated?
Blind forms is the best way I understand how to do it. I think, there are several applications out there that can help you do this. Most marketing automation offers this now. But this idea that, if they've come to your site in the past or interacted with you previously, then you will have their information stored and then, know that they visited that piece of content as well. I think it's a good way to go.
Yeah, I agree with Rachel.
Yeah. Another great way is HTML experiences.
No, Alice!
Shameless plug.
Previously, you will like it eventually because you can track so much data. It's ungated. You can see what people are clicking on, what they're engaging with, the whole heat map, the whole gamut of where people are dropping off on videos, all that great stuff. Clicks from the page maybe to get started with an ad with your company. That's why I love it. because it seems like more of a seamless, like subtle educational experience. But I won't plug it anymore. I'm done. Let's see. How do you balance reaching out to people in your network but not come across as being too salesy?
Well, if you're trying to sell a product or service, like, don't sound salesy, right? Like, you need to rethink what you're trying to say and why you're trying to say it. Yeah, I mean, really, if you are worried about coming across as being salesy, you probably need to go back to the drawing board and figure out a different way to get your message across.
Yeah, I mean, social selling, Jill Rowley, I feel like is the queen of social selling. This idea that, that you should be an expert in your own field as a salesperson. So if you are a salesperson trying to sell on LinkedIn, a company that I used to work for, Everstring, does this extremely well. Matt Amundsen, look him up. He has good blogs on this if you're interested. But this idea of again, being an expert in your field, being able to provide solid advice and value, not, to the conversation, not just like buy my product or like, oh, you have this problem, I have a solution for you kind of thing.
Yeah, and I think when I was being a little bit hard on, I think, whoever asked this question, if it's like you really want to reach out to someone and you don't know what to say, but you are looking for an informational interview or to learn more, that's when, if it's a personal message that you're trying to get across, then you need to rethink it a little bit more and be more personal. But yeah, if you are trying to go after a lead or whatnot, leverage all the intelligence that you get from social selling and do it tastefully and really thoughtfully.
Yeah, and in that same vein, there's another question about thoughts on accepting LinkedIn connections you may not know directly.
Yeah, I don't accept connections from people I don't know directly. Because, like, why would I just want a bunch of people that I just don't know, that I'm not familiar with within my network? That being said, I don't not want to meet new people, but if you want to connect with me, like, explain why you want to connect with me and how I can help you, and if there's, like, what the quid pro quo arrangement is there.
Yeah.
Totally.
I totally agree. I get a lot of requests like, hey, like, I read your ebook, or I got this email from you from LinkedIn, or like I saw you on that webcast. Those kinds of things, if you just take the time to write like a personalized message, I'll accept. I definitely agree that it's about quality, not quantity. Like, you want to build a strategic network for yourself. But yeah, just taking the time to write that personalized note, again, like Megan was saying, like why you want to connect, where you saw me, why you're interested in being my connection.
Yeah.
I think that goes a long way. Do you think, this is an interesting one. Do you think there's a millennial stereotype that actually has any truth to it?
Impatience.
Yeah.
I think that's so real, as much as I don't want it to be, but like, especially for like bureaucratic things, like, and I think that, we won't get into politics, but like, politics are, supposed to work that way. And I think that there's a lot of trouble that we have with this like push and pull and this idea of compromise. But, things that take a long time, like if I'm on the phone with a customer service, whatever line for 20 minutes, I'm getting so aggravated. And it's like, the world is slowly catching up with us. Like, we can't have all of our problems solved immediately right now. But yeah, I think impatience is real and working on that, the yoga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your inner Zen. Okay, there's one about the question about what's the age frame of a millennial. It's the early 1980s to
1984
to early 2000s,
yeah.
right? Yeah, that's the general age range.
But it can fluctuate. Sometimes people say it's people up until their mid-30s, late 30s, and sometimes the cutoff is 1980. It's a pretty fluid definition.
Mm-hmm. Yes, agreed. Okay, what's the most frustrating thing about working with baby boomers, and what can they do to improve the situation?
This is so interesting because we actually just did research taking a look at millennials and Gen Xers in the workplace and their differences and how they work and come to the table to make buying decisions. And what we found is that there actually isn't a big difference between the two generations, and then they actually really value working together. I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, boomers, I think that there's been a lot of talk about like ageism out there. I think that that's awful. I think boomers have a lot to offer us. I think, if I could ask something of baby boomers is like, help us, mentor us. You have so much wealth of experience and knowledge, like, teach us. And I think, millennials want to learn and, help us grow into, being the next generation that's, leading businesses.
Okay, there's a lot of marketers, a couple questions about Instagram. So a lot of marketers are using Instagram as a tool to market to millennials. Do you see Instagram lasting?
I love Instagram.
Yeah, I do. Instagram is so great. It is so great for B2C. And B2B. What am I even saying? Instagram. Wow, I have like an emotional response back to that. I think Instagram will be around for a long time, and there's so much utility out of it.
Yeah, I think, again, though, it's about like blending into the situation. So like, don't show me like an in-product shot in my Instagram that is like so clearly advertising and annoying. But like, say if your like HR department is using the Instagram to like show what's happening in the office, or like, and maybe they're using your product or something like that, like that's something that like fits on Instagram. And I think people will get better at that before it.
Yeah, I am so interested to see where the whole Instagram influencer marketing sort of hype goes, because now like we all know that if there's a hashtag ad or hashtag SP in there, that it's clearly a brand partnership and it's not like truly authentic, and that kind of waters away at things. I'm really interested to see where that goes, because there's a whole strategy, right? Like, how do you monetize the ability to be an Instagram influencer? And only so many people can do that and achieve that level, right? And that really complicates things for brands when they're trying to develop those partnerships. And I don't know, I'm fascinated by it.
Okay, what do you suggest when one person in marketing wants to go fully digital, but the others are opposed to going online?
Opposed to going online?
I know.
This is 2017, right?
That's what you tell them. This is 2017.
And also, like, do a test.
Test one piece of content.
Data is your best ally, So, like, do something similar or hopefully exactly the same in print and online, and, measure the most meaningful and direct result and see how it goes.
I really want to know, like, who asked that and what kind of company they work for, and, like, have a conversation.
I wish we could have them call in. Maybe next time. All right. What are the 3 most innovative things you think LinkedIn is using to appeal to millennials?
Ooh, our B2B review partnerships. I think it's so great to bring peer reviews of software, hardware, whatever, onto the platform and really foster that conversation. I love where our partnerships team and our BD team are taking opportunities like that. So, and it's great for technology marketers.
LinkedIn Learning.
Yeah, people, that's just so true.
I mean, again, like this, we mentioned this like at the beginning of the talk, but this idea that millennials, like the biggest thing that they want is to learn and grow and explore. And I think this idea that, LinkedIn is investing in that and in people's ability to learn and grow, I think is huge. And I'm really happy and excited to be a part of it.
Yeah. And video, which is like slowly, it's just finally making its big grand debut. Video is so fantastic for storytelling. We all know this. Can't wait to get all the video in the world on LinkedIn.
Yes, I was going to say video. I also think publishing is a big one, just because like we are creators and entrepreneurs. So like sharing your POV on LinkedIn, building your personal brand. Like I think as millennials, we like to kind of like take things into our own hands and build our own future. So, building up your profile, you have the power to do that. You have the power to say whatever you want to say on the platform, and, get your dream job eventually. I got mine on LinkedIn, actually.
Me too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Via LinkedIn?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Look at us. All right. So we've talked a lot about ebooks and PDFs. Can you share some of the stuff that you've been reading recently? Whether it be ebooks, PDFs, or maybe like some blogs that you go to stay on top of.
Yeah, my response would be so boring. It would be like the state of cybersecurity and stuff like that. So all of my content is very heavy tech, just because I'm trying to learn as much as I can about what is going on in order to develop a strategic viewpoint and how I can create content or go-to-market programs that will service our clients that are facing those challenges too. So I wish it was a lot fluffier. What about you?
I've actually been reading a lot on LinkedIn. A lot of what's been published by folks. I mean, Josh Burson is a huge name in learning and development, so I've been reading a lot of his stuff, really trying to focus on, staying up to date on what he's publishing. Also, video vlogs. I mean, like, TED Talks, they have ones that are like 20 minutes now, so that is the, perfect, thing on my way to work, or, and podcasts. We talked about podcasts are huge. Yeah. I love podcasts.
I also, within tech, I love people that are able to pull together little digests and snippets that don't take themselves too seriously and really cut to the chase. I think there's an art to people who can curate and sort of synopsize and synthesize everything that's going on. And it's taken me a long time to find those exact resources and sort of like bring them in. But I love them, and they also fill up the majority of my content consumption.
Those are all great examples. Another thing that I read every day and contribute to, shameless plug, is the LinkedIn Marketing Solutions blog.
Yes,
and
it's great.
There's a link to it in your resources console. You can subscribe or just browse through and check it out. No pressure, just saying. It's pretty great.
Great.
Okay, what tool is most underutilized by millennials that they should be better aware of? I don't know if we're talking about personal branding tool or marketing tool, but... Perhaps just like, maybe it's like a tool to be more effective in the workplace. Like you mentioned Slack, like are there any other tools that you use in your day-to-day?
Awkward silence.
Not so much.
No, I'm just trying to like process this and go through my day-to-day and figure out like what helps me most. Maybe not like a hard tool, but a soft tool is just for me like exercising strategies to prioritize and figure out how to get the work that I'm trying to do done in the least amount of time. So there's a lot of great sort of like think pieces and strategies about how you can get your work done really effectively, and those are really good tools to personally invest in.
Yeah, I mean, anything that functions like a Trello board, I think people find really helpful. I feel like I go back and forth between something like that, and then just like literally writing in a notebook and putting in like boxes is something that I do. And then like if anything has a box, it doesn't have a red check in it, like I know I haven't done it yet, which is like really back to basics and not a tool. But I mean, like, don't forget about writing things down. Like our brains respond well to that, you know? So I don't know if that's what we were looking for there, but I hope that we answered your question. If not, feel free to ask again, and we have so many that we might need to take this offline and put it into a blog post at some point, maybe. I'm going to shoot this one over to Rachel because you work at LinkedIn Learning. There's a question about how do millennials like to learn new things? Do you guys have any research on that, or like just how people in general are how learning has changed, how people are like enjoy learning now? Yeah, I mean, I think people are just more open to learning more often. I think this idea of e-learning keeps expanding. People I think still like to learn in the classroom. So if you're talking about doing, manager trainings, like those day-longs are still really valuable, and I think millennials like to learn that way, but complementing them with e-learning solutions. There's a lot of research on this idea of, implementing into your organization's growth mindset. So, when managers are talking with employees, they respond really well to constructive criticisms. If you follow up with like, hey, here's an e-learning opportunity, that our company offers to help you improve on, what we just talked about. So I think this idea of, in terms of how people learn, I think they're just more open to learning in general. Also bite-sized learning, like people don't have time to spend an hour or 3 hours or go back to school even, to get a certificate or something like that. So I think, this idea of micro-learning is definitely getting bigger. But I think it's just in general, having your managers encourage employees to learn to get better. You know what I mean? Making that part of the conversation. I think millennials really respond well to that, and that's what the research shows.
Okay, I'm going to do one more, and then I think we're going to have to close out for the day. But thank you so much for all these awesome questions. They're so great. There's one about, do you have any tips for the best ways marketers can market products with a high level of investment? For example, like houses, like car, jewelry, wedding, those type of things.
Like high consideration.
Yeah, high consideration.
Yeah. Do you have a knee-jerk reaction to that?
I mean, I think like going back to what we said before about like how people want to consume 10 pieces of content before they raise their hands. I think it's like a slow and steady process where you're kind of nurturing them along with helpful content, making them feel comfortable about it. Case studies, here's how it's worked for other people. Here's how we're going to help you along after you've made the sale. Just making people feel comfortable and being as helpful and genuine as you can along the way with lots of helpful content marketing.
I would add, be really effective in your storytelling, right? You're trying to sell someone into a vision or a life that they could have with this product. That's clearly an investment, right? So the more you can put them at ease, excite them, delight them about it, that is very, very helpful and not always something that I see. Yeah.
I think also like partnering with third-party brands. So if you can, integrate your jewelry into, some other brand campaign that someone is doing that people trust, I think that is really effective. It's something I definitely do for multiple B2C and B2B things. Like if a third party is writing about how it's effective, from a B2B perspective, but, from B2C, if I see people, really happy, like, wearing this piece of jewelry or like having this experience out in Mykonos or whatever, wearing this necklace, like, I'm like, I really like that necklace and the way it makes me feel.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that idea of like painting the experience.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I hope that was helpful for our audience. That's all the time that we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you for all of the questions. And you'll have to stay tuned for our next episode in the series, which is happening in October. It's going to be centered all around social media. I've been your trusted host so far, but we're going to spread the love, have a couple of different hosts, have some new guests on. So stay tuned, subscribe to the blog to find out more information on that. Thank you, and have an awesome day.